All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua, by Hashem Rechahakodash, the double honor small apostles, great millstone, peace and citation to the hopeful numerous of the elect, the Bachar in the house of David that's been preordained, predestined to be delivered in these last and times and to be the ruling governing body of the nation. Yashallah. All right, I want to go into a lesson, current news, current events again. I know I touched this the other day. What's going on in Israel. All right, and how Hamas attacked Israel. All right, actually, let me get this in Google. So if you don't know, all right, just give you a background on what's going on. All right, October 2023, Gaza, which is the headquarters for Hamas, which is a Palestinian or Islamic military. All right, their own military. So Gaza, Israel conflict. So on October 7th, which just happened a few days ago, Saturday. Today's October 9th. Palestinian militant groups led by Hamas launched a large-scale invasion and offensive against Israel from the Gaza Strip, breaking through the Gaza-Israel barrier and forcing entry via the Gaza border crossings into nearby settlements and Israel military installations, right? And then Israel responded with rockets, all right? But all in all, this is going to lead into war, And now they're saying that, it's lucky for the music in the background, all right? But now they're saying how, let's see if I can get it. That's not it. Right, now they're saying how Iran might be involved, all right? Because all in all, this is all propaganda, I mean, it's a real war, real attack, of course, but, they want to get, they're trying to get Iran involved, all right? So they got an excuse to go over there and try to take over, attack them, take over. But hey, it's all part of prophecy, because once they touch Iran, all right, hey, Russia's going to hop in, Ezekiel 38. Russia's that guard unto these other nations, So it says, Hamas attack bears hallmarks of Iranian involvement, former U.S. officials say, right? It's coming from, U.S. officials. What you can't believe, nothing these devils say. All right, it says the unprecedented scale and the sophisticated tactics Hamas used in its attack on Israel indicate Iran most likely played a significant role in the multi-pronged assault, former U.S. intelligence and military officers say. From the use of fast boats to hostage taking to swarming an adversary, the Hamas operation displayed an approach Iran and its proxies often use against opponents with superior conventional forces, and said three former senior intelligence officials and a former senior military officer. The sophistication and the complexity of the attack seems beyond what Hamas could do on its own, a former senior U.S. intelligence official said. And that can be the case, it could have been Iran, could have not. All right, either way, these groups are funded, by the elites. All this is being funded anyways, it's controlled opposition. All right, and the U.S., when they left Afghanistan, they left tanks, missiles, all right, military weapons. But either way, this all, the Hamas group, they're all controlled, all right, controlled by the elites. Again, this is controlled opposition. All right. It says, but in the interview, Ali Baraka, a senior Hamas official, denied that Iran supported or sanctioned the operation. It was a surprise to everyone, including Iran, said Baraka, the head of Hamas National Relations abroad. Baraka, speaking in Beirut, noted that Iran supports Hamas, but he insisted that we did not inform them that there was an operation that would happen at dawn on October 7th. He added, after the operation began, we informed Iran. Right. So, that's what they say. All in all, it's just war being brewed up. All right, because, hey, Biden's going to send them troops. Let me read the scripture, man. Biden's talking about sending troops over there. Okay. And that's the Valley of Jehoshaphat. All right, let me get Joel chapter 3, verse 9. And it reads, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men. When all the men of war draw near, let them come up, right? So you got war brewing up, all right? You're going to see more military troops of the U.S. heading over there to the Middle East. You're going to see, Russian troops stationed over there, Iranian troops, all right? And somehow, some way, it's going to just pop off. But first, it has to be the implementation of the microchip, all right, which is the MOTB, the mark of the beast, spoken of in Revelation, the 13th chapter, verse 16. He causes all both small and great to receive a mark in their hand or on their foreheads, so that they might not, so they can buy or sell, or you won't buy and sell unless you have that mark, okay? But let's skip down. It says, verse 12, let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about, right? So the valley of Jehoshaphat is talking about the Middle East, all right? So-called Middle East, over that Asian, not Asian, but the Levant area, all right? You see, that Mediterranean area, all right, which consists of Iran, Israel, all right? That's where all the nations are going to be gathered, the military of these nations, that is, all right? And that's where the hot zone of World War III is going to take place. So let me get this video real quick. What Biden got to say.
Well, the world awaits to hear from the President of the United States, Joe Biden, with remarks on Hamas's attack on Israel. It is an unprecedented attack. Seems to have caught the Israeli administration and military by surprise. How did this happen? How will the U.S. support Israel? How far will they go? Will they allow Israel to tap into the $2 billion of U.S. weapons that are stockpiled in Israel? It is an unprecedented, disturbing story that has been unfolding here today as Hamas, again, a surprise attack on Israel. About an hour ago, our Trey Yanks reported that according to the Israeli military, there are 22 active scenes. This is with hostages, some of them with firefighting that's still taking place. And here is the United States President, Joe Biden.
Today, the people of Israel are under attack, orchestrated by a terrorist organization, Hamas. In this moment of tragedy, I want to say to them and to the world.
And America and Israel are actually the biggest terrorists, all right? Because if you go back to 1948, what happened? Let's get that history. All right. So let's go to, let me see, I got my tabs. Right. It's the 1948 Arab-Israeli War. All right, I'm going to read it briefly. All right. It says, the Arab-Israeli War 1948 broke out when 5 Arab nations invaded territory in the former Palestinian Mandate immediately following the announcement of the independence of the State of Israel on May 14, 1948. Okay? But what they won't tell you is that they were doing, Israel was doing aerial bombings on certain of these Arab nations. Okay, let me see. Because they promised them, it was like a partition, all right? They promised them that they'll divide the land, which they never fulfilled. None of the promises, Israel that is, all right? The Amalekites. It says, also known as the First Arab-Israeli War, followed the civil war in mandatory Palestine as the second and final stage of the 1948 Palestine War. All right, and they were massacring those Palestinians over there. Okay. It says it formally began following the end of the British Mandate for Palestine at midnight on 14 May 1948. The Israeli Declaration of Independence had been issued earlier that day, and a military coalition of Arab states entered the territory of British Palestine in the morning of May 15. All right. But like I said, they were doing, aerial bombings, Israel that is, certain these Arab nations, attacking them, the massacre of the Palestinians in that land, right? And America, like I said, they're the biggest bullies as well. They're the biggest terrorists. But let's go back to that video. Because that Wikipedia ain't gonna tell you the full history of really what happened. So try to make it sound like the Arab nations were the sole problem. All right, which that wasn't, even the case. All right.
To the world and the terrorists everywhere.
It's like, let me
The
go
United
somewhere.
States
Music.
stands with Israel. We will not ever fail to have their back. We'll make sure that they have the help their citizens need and they can continue to defend themselves. The world's seen appalling images. Thousands of rockets in the space of hours raining down on Israeli cities. I got up this morning and started this at 7:30, 8 o'clock, my calls. Hamas terrorists crossing in Israel, killing not only Israeli soldiers, but Israeli civilians. In the street, in their homes. Innocent people murdered, wounded, entire families taken hostage by Hamas. Just days after.
People were being kidnapped. Supposedly they went to a festival. It was, I think, like over 200 people, got caught in action and gunfire, and they killed them. All right, people got abducted, taken hostage. They showed a lot of women being taken. All right, so you can only imagine what they're doing to them. All right, pretty women too, that is, pretty little Amalekite women.
Israel marked the holiest of days in the Jewish calendar.
Which they're not the true people. Should say, bastards shall dwell in Ashdod. Let me get that real quick. So, Zechariah 9 verse 6. I was getting from here. It says, and a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod, which is in Israel, and I will cut off the pride of the Philistines. Right. Those bastards are talking about those Amalekites, all right, the nation of Edom. That's in our land.
It's unconscionable. When I spoke with Prime Minister Netanyahu this morning, I told him the United States stands with the people of Israel in the face of these terrorist assaults. Israel has the right to defend itself and its people. Full stop. There's never justification for terrorist attacks. My administration's support for Israel's security is rock solid and unwavering. Let me say this as clearly as I can. This is not a moment for any party hostile to Israel to exploit these attacks to seek advantage. The world...
Oh yeah, reading the comments too, they're saying how, Iran, I guess, using the $6 billion that the U.S. gave them, they're using it to help Hamas, all right, which, like, again, who knows? It's all controlled opposition either way, okay? But let's go to, actually, Jeremiah 50, verse 45, and it reads, "Therefore hear the counsel of the Lord, that he had taken against Babylon, and his purposes that he had purposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them." The least of the flock is talking about the Israelis, all right, Amalekites. And they're going to draw all these nations to war, all right? So we'll go back. Because guaranteed Biden, he says he's going to send aid, all right? And part of that aid is going to be them troops, our U.S. troops, all right? So again, that's going back to Joel, how these nations' militaries are all going to be drawn out to the Middle East, all right, for World War III,
Any party hostile to Israel to exploit these attacks to seek advantage. The world is watching. I've also been in contact with the King of Jordan, spoken with members of Congress, directed my national security team to engage with their Israeli counterparts, military to military, intelligence to intelligence, diplomat to diplomat, to make sure Israel has what it needs. I've also directed my team to remain in constant contact with leaders throughout the region, including Egypt, Turkey, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Oman, the UAE, as well as our European partners and the Palestinian Authority. It's also a terrible tragedy on a human level. It's hurting innocent people. Seeing the lives that have been broken by this, the families torn apart, it's heartbreaking. Jill and I are praying for those families who've been impacted by this violence. We grieve with those who've lost their loved ones, lost a piece of their soul.
Man, but these devils done split up whole families, all right, in America. All right, going back to, Judah, all right, so-called Native Americans, Gad and Reuben, all right, Judah being so-called African Americans, they done split up whole families, all right, and the other tribes, of course, but speaking of, particularly America, even Issachar, all right, they done split up whole families, going back into slavery, taking away families and taking our, the young men, the young boys of Gad, all right, to boarding schools, using them for World War II, which was one of the reasons why they were so successful as well. Using Gad's, look up code talkers, all right, at the Navajo.
We have hope for a swift recovery for many who've been wounded. We're going to remain in close touch with Prime Minister. I personally am going to remain in close contact with Prime Minister Netanyahu as this situation continues to develop. And let there be no mistake, the United States stands with the state of Israel, just as we have from the moment the United States became the first nation to recognize Israel 11 minutes after its founding 75 years ago. Thank you very much.
President, was there an intelligence failure?
Right, which they got into that land through certain events, of course, after World War II, all right, because it took place in 1948. It was under the Balfour Declaration, right, which was signed in 1918 after World War I. So all this it was already planned out. It was signed by who? Lord Rothschild, all right, one of the elites that runs this place, all right, the international banking families. That's just one of them, the Rothschilds, okay.
Here in the lead up to this attack?
President Biden saying the United States stands with
So,
Israel.
Hey, things is growing up, baby. All right, prophecy speaking. They're gonna get more serious. All right, as time goes by. Okay, now they're eluding Iran. All right, so we'll see what that leads to. Okay, so giving all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, by Hashem Rachagodash, the bodies of the apostles, a great millstone. Peace and salutation to the whole families of the elect. Shalom.